Okay, so we're going to talk about relation and function. Okay, and I said to you before, function is one of the most important, if not the most important concept in the entire mathematics. All right, so we're going to start defining what relation and functions are in mathematics, and then we're going to go from there. Okay, from now on, you're going to hear that word many, many times, functions. Okay, so we're going to say this. Consider, I want you to copy this, please. Consider the two sets below. Okay, so we're going to start with a very easy example. Okay, so this is the set of 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so that means that this set has 4 elements. And let's have another one, B, and we're going to have 5 and 7. Okay, so these are two different sets of number. And then the first thing that we are going to define is what a relation is. Okay, so we're going to say we define the Cartesian, so we're going to call this Cartesian, like that, Cartesian product Cartesian product of A and B as follows. Okay, so that in here you can see the word product. Okay, so that is telling you that we can actually multiply sets. Okay, but we're going to multiply them in a very particular way. Okay, so we're going to say A times B. Okay, so A times B as this. All right, so the product is going to be a set of order pairs. So we're going to have points. Okay, so the first one, if you do the multiplication, so we're going to have 1, 5, comma, 1, 7. And then we're going to have 2, 5, 2, 7, 3, 5, 3, 7, and then 4, 5, 4, 7. All right, so let's do all these pairs. So I have 2, 5, 2, 5, and then 2, 7. And then we're going to have 3, 5, 3, 7. And finally, we're going to have 4, 5, 4, 7. All right. Okay. So you can see the multiplication is very easy, and it will give you a set of points. Okay, and then you can see that how many points you're going to have. Well, what you do, you multiply 4 times 2, so you should have 8 points. Okay, and that is the case. All right. All right, and then we're going to say this. Formally, we write. Okay, so you can see that if you have more numbers in here, let's say that you go, I don't know, let's say 25, and then here you go 35, you can imagine how many points you're going to have. So I mean that is not practical to explicitly write this set, but we're going to be using, a formal notation. Okay, so we're going to say A times B in general, we're going to say that A times B is going to be the set of points of the form x comma y. So you can see here we have an x value and we have a y value. Okay, so such this line here means such that in mathematics. Okay, so such that x is coming from A and y is coming from B. Okay, so this is an implicit way of writing this. Okay, so you can see this makes sense. So x is coming from A and y is coming from B. That's all what we're saying. Okay. Okay, and then we're gonna say any subset. Do you know what we mean by a subset? Yes, some of them, not all of them. You can have, this together with that one, or you can have this, this, and this, or you can have, that one with that one or that one. So any element from there, or elements, will make up a subset. So we're going to say any subset of A times B is to be called a relation from A to B. Okay, that's it. So in here we're saying that a relation between A and B is simply a subset from, the product of A times B. Okay? So for example, we're going to say example, let's say for instance, one of those relations can be, I'm going to call R1, 1,5, 1,7, and 4,5. Okay, so we're going to say that this is a relation from A to B. Okay, so this is an example of a relation from A to B. Another relation, okay, we're going to call that relation 2. We can have 2, 7, 3, 5, and then 4, 5. Okay, at this point, we're going to say that there is a relation between these two numbers, okay? So we're going to say that there is somehow a relation between these two numbers. We don't know what the relation is. Okay, sometimes we can work it out. Okay, so sometimes you can see a pattern and then you say, okay, I can see that, that the second number is double than the first one. Okay, or you can say, oh yeah, I can see that the second number is the square of the first number minus 1 and things like that, right? Okay, so yeah, we're going to say that, when talking about relation, we are saying that somehow there is a connection between the x value and the y value. We don't know what the relation is, but it's happening. And that is what we normally call in mathematics modeling. Okay, so when you have a set of number, okay, when you collect data, then you're going to organize the data and then you're going to create, a set. And then what you really want to do is to model. Okay, so you really want to see how this set of points are behaving. If you're lucky enough, they're going to behave in a very regular way, and then you can find the equation, and that is good because then you can make prediction. Okay, then you can say, okay, I have this behavior, and then I can see that, it's moving this way. So in the next 5 years, it will do this. All right? So that is what we call about modeling. Now, if the data that you collect is good, then you can create a good model. Okay, and if the data that you collect is not very good, then yeah, the model is not going to be that good. All right, and when you do statistics, you do a lot of things like that. All right, but let's continue. Okay, so we have this, and then I'm going to put another one. So we can have another subset from here. So we can have another relation between this x and y value. So the next one is 1, 5, comma, 2, 7, comma, 4, 5. All right. Okay. All right, and then we're gonna say we can also represent or illustrate. We're gonna say represent. We can also represent this set, these sets or relation. Okay, so we can also represent these sets or relations as follows. Okay, so we can also use the diagram. Okay, so in here we have, set of point, and we're using the set notation. But also we can use a diagram, and that's what we're gonna be using a lot. Can you see that when we do the number plane, what we're actually doing, we are plotting point, and what we're actually doing is manipulating, relation. So you plot point, and then we trace a curve through those points, and then we try to find, the equation of that thing. Okay? All right. Okay, so another way of doing this, I'm going to draw this. So in here, I have A. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And for B, I have 5 and 7. 5 and 7. And this is looking so much like a number plane. And then if you plot the original A times B set, okay, the Cartesian product, if you plot this, then you're going to have a picture that looks like this, all right? So I have that one. And then, okay, so we have that, right? Okay, so we have one go to 5, 1 go to 7, 2 go to 5, 2 go to 7, and so on. Exactly what we have in here, but in here we have, a diagram. Okay, can you see that? Right. Okay, so that is one way of illustrating this relation. The other way that is also very, very popular, especially if you go to uni, okay, the other one that is also popular is using things like that. So in here we're going to have A, in here we're going to have B, and between them we're going to have A times B, and we're going to put the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, the introduction of this is simple, and most of the stuff that you're going to be seeing in the HSC for this section probably will be in the multiple choice question, because so they're going to ask you, if there's a relation, and then we're going to see that there is a very important difference between relation and function. Okay, so then you need to be able to distinguish them. Okay, so we got this, and then here we go 5 and 7. So this is my set A, and this is my set B. Okay? And then you can see that we can draw arrows from one to the other. So we're going to have 1, 2, and then 1, 7, and then 2, 5, 2, 7, and so on. Okay, so that is another way of representing this Cartesian product. And that is another way of illustrating, a relation between two sets. All right? Okay, so that means that in the same way, we can illustrate, graphically, this relation, that one and that one. I guess that's what we're going to be doing, because later we're going to make a conclusion about, what is going on with this subset. Okay, so I want you to do the same for the first relation. So relation 1. So we're going to have, actually, I'm going to do it like, okay, so this is my 1, okay? You can see that for R1, we're going to have in this set, okay, in this set here, okay, so we're going to take not the entire A, okay, but we're going to take 1 and 4. Okay, so 1 and 4, we're going to call them the input number. And then the output number is going to be 5 and 7. So 5 and 7. And then we're going to establish, the relationship between them. Okay, so 1 goes to 5 and 1 goes to 7. All right, so you can see that. 1 goes to 5, but also goes to 7. But 4 goes to 5 only. All right, and then we're going to do R2 and R3. So you're going to do R2 in here.
Do you want us to do it in graph as well? For each relation?
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to do the graph, yeah. Okay, so you can see that in here. So in here you can see we're going to call, from now on, the input number are 2, 3, and 4. All right, 2, 3, and 4. 2, 3, and 4. And the output is going to be 7 and 5. So, or 5 and 7 if you want. Doesn't matter. Again, then we're going to establish the relation between them. So 2 will go to 7. 2 goes to 7. 3 goes to 5. 3 goes to 5. And 4 also goes to 5. Okay, so that's how the relation is behaving. And finally, we're going to do R3 in here. And for R3, the input number are 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4. And the output is just 5 and 7. 5 and 7. And then 1 goes to 5. 2 go to 7. And 4 goes to 5. Okay. Right? Yep, so far I think it's very, very easy to understand. Okay, so it's not a big deal. Okay, but this is something that we have to do to fully understand what we mean by relation and function. Okay, so I mean that we're going to say that a relation between A and B is simply a subset of the Cartesian product of the two sets. Okay? That's it. So I want you to keep that in mind. The relation between A and B is simply a subset from the Cartesian product of A and B. Okay, and then here we have, different example. That's it. Okay. Now we're gonna say what a function actually is. Right. So the next heading is functions. Can you please put that as a heading? Functions. I think I'm gonna leave this in here.